Alright, hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the potential for severe weather over the next few days. I will turn off my fan, as that will probably be a pretty distracting thing. But here we are. So we have 4 straight days of severe weather expected this week. Day 1, to look at that risk, we have a slight risk of severe storms from areas just north of Oklahoma City over to just northwest of St. Louis. Mains hazards today will be damaging wind gusts and hail. A tornado or two cannot be ruled out, though, within that 2% region that encompasses places in northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and portions of southern central Missouri. There's your wind risk and your hail risk, pretty similar. Recent surface analysis shows a little over southwest Minnesota with the cold front extending. Blah, blah, blah. Basically just saying that sufficient for supercells initially. So supercell storm road is expected initially, with upscale growth gradually happening. Day 2, we're expecting an expansive area of severe weather from a dry line / cold front. Dry line risk mainly being in Oklahoma, Texas, with the cold front risk being more kind of associated in the Arkansas area with some boundaries and stuff. There's a 5% chance of tornadoes, mainly for that boundary-related stuff from the Mississippi River Valley through the Ozarks. There's potential for damaging wind gusts throughout the area as well. And there's potential for large to very large hail as well across portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. I said scattered severe thunderstorms should occur Monday into Monday night from portions of north central Texas and to the mid-south and vicinity. Large to very large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes appear possible. I would not be surprised to see this go enhanced for either hail and or tornadoes with the upcoming updates. Here is the most recent HRRR run for tonight. Let's kind of go over to the central United States and look at it for tonight. So we're expecting storm initiation to occur. This is like what, 3Z? That is 10 p.m. It'll likely get stronger around 11. If we take a forecast sounding here, we can see that the soundings show a elevated environment, which means wind and hail are going to be the main threats with tonight. I would not rule out an isolated shot at very large hail either. HRRR really starts to kind of enhance this convection and move it further to the east, and we can see that damaging winds and large hail are going to be possible during the morning hours. This is when a tornado cannot be ruled out within the morning hours, but I just think the low level instability is going to be a little bit too little to produce tornadic activity, as the Cape is 0 within that level. Going throughout the day, in Arkansas, we're expecting a supercell storm road to develop with potential for significant hazards. And looking at this, I mean, dew point temperature difference is about 20 degrees, which could make a difference in the tornado potential, but at least very large hail is going to be likely with this. And you can look at that, very crosswise kind of photograph. Kind of like northwest flow-ish day. Very steep lapse rates to provide hail potential, along with a big hail growth layer and strong instability. Damaging winds are possible given the D-Cape, and tornadoes are possible given the large photograph and the good low-level instability. Multiple areas of supercells are expected. These will kind of roll throughout the Tennessee Valley over throughout the night. And then as we get into Tuesday, there it is. Let's go over to the Ohio Valley and kind of look at the sector over there. Some isolated strong to severe storms are possible on Monday, which is tomorrow, mainly with a wind threat over here. Some more kind of scattered activity to push off. Here's southern United States. There is potential for a few isolated supercells to form in the dry line, but the HRRR does not convect them. Here's a look at the wrap over the next few days. You can see the surface low for today. There's your convection for today. If you have a surface low kind of in play for tomorrow, a weakening one, let's take a look at southeast Oklahoma there. Not bad. Let's go zooming in with the wrap. We'll just keep it on a kind of broad view with the wrap. You see, there's our player for Tuesday. And going into the day 3 outlook, we have a large area of severe weather expected from Houston all the way over to just south of Alexandria, sliding into portions of Minnesota there. Even in places like Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Mississippi can all see severe weather. Here's the probabilistic A large hatching region from Iowa down to Texas is expected. Within that hatched region, strong tornadoes and very large hail, along with significant damaging wind gusts, are possibilities. Here are some of the larger populated centers in the risk. You can kind of pause to see that. Scattered severe thunderstorms capable of producing very large hail, damaging wind gusts, and tornadoes should occur Tuesday evening and night across a broad portion of the central southern plains. Some of the tornadoes are into the Mississippi Valley. Some of the tornadoes could be strong. If you want to pause and read a discussion, you can. But that's basically what they're talking about. Now, looking into the wrap. We can see the wrap actually moves the surface a little further north and east than most other models. It does develop a secondary one and fires off convection, though. Looking more in depth with the wrap, let's stop it at around 22Z. We're expecting some triple point initiation here with that secondary low pressure. We see a localized area with more backed winds, and we can see soundings indicate potential for strong tornadoes given the very large photographs that we see here. The steep lapse rates throughout the atmosphere, good cape in the atmosphere as well, along with some decent decape to provide damaging wind potential. Very large hail will be possible given the strong lapse rates. Now, that might be limited a little bit given how strong the low shear is, but the photograph isn't so large, so there might be potential for that. Deep layer shear is strong as well, along with instability of mixed layer cape of almost 3,000 joules per kilogram. Here's a look at your overall instability, very high. There is some risk for severe weather across Missouri and Illinois along the warm front, and you can see the wrap does give a decent environment for that, so we'll have to see if there's going to be any supercells or anything that fires along the warm front here. There's a sign near Peoria, Illinois, and you can see it's very capped, so if anything does form above that cap, we could see some tornado potential with, or some wind and hail potential with it, but not really tornado potential. 0Z, the environment will cap over more, but it still looks pretty significant at this point. Photograph map at like 21Z, we can see there's a small area across Iowa that gets to 3,000 cape, and this is where a very locally environment sets up to where you could see a more significant local environment. Now, further south along the dry line across the central United States, you can see that down into Texas, we have a pretty good environment there. Soundings definitely show potential for all hazards, mainly hail, but some tornado and wind potential exists as well. Here in kind of eastern Kansas, we can see again soundings promote more of a hail risk. Once you get to 23 and 0Z, though, the low-level jet starts to kick in, and your tornado risk starts to increase. Looking at a sounding like this, in kind of eastern Oklahoma, you can see, or eastern Kansas, you can see a lot of instability along with pretty high shear as well. Now, your mid-level shear is not that great, so it might limit the updrafts a little bit, but once they start to get going, they'll get going with this huge instability kind of they got here. Once we get towards 0Z, we can see the instability is still pretty high across most areas, along with the photographs getting bigger and the kinematics growing bigger. There's potential for dryline convection down here in southern Texas, kind of near Corpus Christi. Looking at this, kind of classic mothership profile, large to very large hail possible. We can see the wrap does not convect down there, though. It does convect, however, along the Red River, where I do believe there probably will be there's a pretty good environment for supercells down there. Wind and tornadoes will be hazards. Now, there's another area to watch with the subtropical jet at like 18 to 0Z right in here. We can see that there's another area of enhancement. This is called the subtropical jet. It can form on the southern side of the system sometimes. This will bring enhancement for a few severe thunderstorms across this area that will have potential to produce tornadoes, wind, and hail. Low photographs still support that. Looking over at the Euro 2, you can see that the severe weather is likely on Wednesday as well, as the SPC has put out a large risk of severe weather from the Gulf Coast all the way up into the Wisconsin area, Great Lake area. Kind of the Euro reflectivity here, as we can see, it kind of pushes out with potential for that.